How do you work with your imposter syndrome? This is what we're going to talk about today. But before we get started, we want to let you guys know, watch till the end. We are going to draw an angel card for you that Rain's going to draw for us to help us with some guidance for the day and for this week. We're going to just dive right in.
Welcome to our channel. I'm Rain, with over 20 years of experience as an NLP practitioner, light worker, and channeler through divine inspiration, here to help you connect with your true self.
And I'm Mel, an empath, light worker, and connector, passionate about guiding you to set boundaries and thrive.
Together, we bring you weekly tools and insights to support your empath journey.
If you're ready to deepen your connection with self, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Let's dive in. What is the root cause of imposter syndrome, and why do so many people experience it?
Okay, so imposter syndrome, which is really, really, really cool. And it's so sad that it's being called a syndrome because we are all imposters. So in reality, the identities we are dressed up in at every minute of our day, we are pretending to be someone. We are pretending to be someone we are not. That's just all the time, except when we're really sitting completely on our own and we're bored or we're going through our own challenging emotions. But in general, we're all pretending to be something. Now, imagine if we have this earth experience and we were just a soul, there would be no fun. There would be nothing to experience. So, what is being called an imposter syndrome is basically an identity that you're choosing to embody and experience for this moment in time. You either want to experience it for 20 years of your life, you want to experience it for 5, for a month, for a minute. And you can actually you can relate to this is like certain people you're very confident around, right? And certain people you're walking on eggshells around. It always changes according to the energies you're around. So you embody an identity, okay, which isn't yours, and you fabricate an identity around a specific person. So let's say you are working through family issues, right? And you're like, that's it. I found my confidence. I'm like, I feel strong. I'm going to say what I want. I'm all this. And you've been far away from your family and you're about to go meet them for Christmas or Thanksgiving or some occasion for some reason. And you're all like, okay, I have this new identity. This new identity is I'm confident, but you feel like you're an imposter, right? Anyway, you meet them and all of a sudden, all the confidence you worked on vanishes. And you're back in an identity that is relatable to this family dynamics, is something that you remember. It's the space in which you revert back to another identity that you've lived for years in, right? So now you've got two different identities. You've got the identity that evolved into a more confident person, and you've got the identity of somebody who's not as confident and is like really scared of sharing their truth in front of parents. So it shifts. So when the imposter syndrome comes up, it's just a persona. Now we all lock into the version of us that was traumatized or sad or alone when we were young. We think that is the true identity. Okay, so when we have an identity when we're kids, like, nobody listens to me, I'm not so lovable, I'm not that deserving, and then you do all this work on self to accomplish becoming someone else, you've shifted an identity. You've become someone completely different, right? We all believe somewhere deep inside that that version of me, the little one that was scared and this and insecure, she's the real one. That's the real identity. So I am impostering. I am pretending to be someone that I'm not. I'm pretending to be confident when the true nature of me is not, because I wasn't when I was little. So we believe, just because we look at our life in a timeline space, we believe that first identity that was created is the original. And anything that comes out after that is an imposter, right? Little do we know that everything that comes out that develops after that first development of the first identity are different roles in which you are trying to play to see if it fits or if it doesn't fit. The only problem is we always go back to the original identity that we created, our first experience on Earth, our first experience to play with an identity and pretend to be somebody other than just a soul having a human experience, right? This is the human side of us. We're like, in this human form, I finally identified that I am. I get angry easily. I don't like to share my voice. I'm kind of an introvert. And so you've gathered an identity. And now you're more of an extrovert. And now you share your voice. And now you're not afraid to speak in public. So you feel like you're an imposter in comparison to the original state that you were, right? Because that's what we do. We only go back to the past and we bring to the future in representation to what the past is. So imposter syndrome, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's just you think you are pretending to be someone you're not. So you'd rather be insecure and all those other things that you actually were, and the confident you is not the real you. Now, this also happens in the spiritual world. When you want to, when you want to do speaking gigs, you want to help people feel better, you're channeling, you're psychic, your mediumship, all this stuff. At the very beginning, it does feel like an imposter. Why? Because all the stuff that you used to feel, taste, see, and feel, you had as a child, but then you were denied that this is true. You were told this is a lie. So then you became very insecure about it and you believed all this was crap and bullshit. Sorry for the language. And then you grew up finding out it wasn't crap and it's real, right? And you're trying to dress up in the original, like the true form you're in the human experience. Okay, let me try to explain this. I don't know if it's making sense. So I'm a soul. I've come to have a human experience. I cannot have a human experience unless I'm an identity. I've developed some sort of an identity so I can interact with the world, right? Somebody does this, I get triggered. Somebody does this, I get happy. I have to have a measure of who I am in this environment, right? And then I lock it in. But my essence is, of course, which all our essence are, if you're aware of your light, you are psychic and you have mediumship ability. You could talk to the dead. You can telepathically talk to everybody. You could, those wonderful things you are here with, except you're not going to play that game because you play it in heaven, wherever, before coming to earth. But you want to play an identity. So you come up with an identity. So this is the root cause of it, is when you have to go back to who you were and compare yourself today and then notice, oh my God, am I really this? I'm not really this. My essence and my origin is that. And that's where the syndrome comes in, because we refuse to allow ourselves to evolve to being different beings because we always go back to the past to measure ourselves against our own past, right? So then we believe we're liars. They didn't believe me then when I was channeling. What makes them believe me now? Because I believe it? I don't even know if I believe it, right? There's a huge mix up. I don't know if it's making sense. It just feels like I'm everywhere.
Yeah, no. And it really does feel like it's when we're trying to grow. It's like I hear this a lot from people that are like they're going to about to do something, like they're going to speak for the first time, or they're like growing, they're starting a business and like it's starting to grow and they're just like they're not you it's like they're used to like playing small within themselves and not allowing the big player that's within them, that's divine, that's just there. It's like holding it down, like we're afraid to see it grow big or to see it or trust that it can be real or that we deserve it, or I don't know, there's a lot that comes up
I don't think
with
it has anything to do with being afraid to be large. It feels like it's not afraid to be in your power or your essence. It's more of like this feeling of I don't know any better than that identity, and to come up with a new identity is freaking me out, because we because a lot of the language is step into your power and like feel this thing, and nobody understands what that actually means, but we can't become this thing because we're still in the human form, right? But we can choose a new identity. So it's just it's like breaking up with a boyfriend or a husband or a wife or whatever, like or a friend. You're breaking up with a friend, and with this friend, your identity was this, and this. You had a list, right? You did things for them and you were this and you were loving and you were attentive and whatever the list is, you had a list. And then you break up. What the sadness that comes in isn't this person leaving. It's the identity in which you created within the presence of this person that is dying, okay, that you have to let go of. Because now you have no one to play this role with, because anyone else you choose cannot play the same role you played with this specific individual. So it's like moving from one role to the next, to the next, to the next. It just depends which role do you want to play today. And it's scary because the role that you choose to play today, that is different than the role I played then, I don't have any concrete proof that I'll still be loved and I'll still be respected and I'll still be worthy. Like I don't, because I figured that one out. Like I have to do this and I have to pretzel here and I have to talk this way. And then I'm loved. That's a lovely identity that I'm comfortable with. It's exhausting, but I did it. This new one, okay, I don't have to pretzel this way. I'll pretzel this. What if I do this and nobody shows up? So I'm unlovable. And the scary part is that's the scary part. It's how will everyone see me in the new identity that freaks people out more than it's me expanding into a larger version of myself and just I'm changing the story. I'm
Mhm.
changing the story about me. It's a breakup and it's scary to break up. Like, even if you're in the worst relationship in the world, it is not easy to leave that partner. No matter how abused you are, it's the scariest decision to take because an identity has been built. Does it make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah. Okay. So then what are some practical steps that someone can take when they feel like they don't deserve their success or accomplishments?
Hmm.
They've never had it before. They're stepping into something new. Like, do I deserve this? Can I have it? Should I put energy into it?
Okay. So yeah, so that's perfect. These are the perfect words. It's like, am I worthy of it? Do I deserve it? Can I do this? Is anyone going to love me? Am I going to be left behind? Am I going to be alone? This is all the language. This is, of course, as we know, this is the ego speaking, right? The ego has mastered an identity, right? The ego knows when to say this, when to say that, how to push you back in line, get back in line, and all this. And now a new one has to create. So the ego is terrified. They're like, but this is good. This is good. But the ego's like, okay, now we're going to change. But now I have to start all over again. I have to think, okay, if I talk this way, how will they perceive me? Will I be loved? Will I not be loved? It's a whole new ballgame. Like there's a whole new character to be built. But to ask if like how to actually do that, there's a little trick, but that's if you can play with yourself a little bit. And the little trick goes like this. I have been so many people throughout this entire timeline. And I remember Wayne Dyer saying something amazing that stuck to me forever. And he was showing a presentation of how when he was little, how he looked. He was tiny. And then he grew up, his legs got taller, his skin got thicker. And then as he grew up, he started to, hair would grow here. And he had a whole bunch of hair first. And then his hair fell out. And just the whole evolution of the human body. This isn't even a personality or character trait. Like we have no control over how our body will grow. Some people grow super tall, some people do, some people get super, some people do. Some people like it's like we don't know. You don't know who you're going to become from that baby, right? But we tend to believe that we have more control over who our personalities will be and our identity. So you're growing into all this unconsciously, you are, but you're conscious about the story in which you want to play this role. So if you can play a little game with yourself and you say, very simply, okay, I am so sick of this role I'm bored of, you know? And really, we only actually change identities when we are tired and bored of a role we've been playing, right? I've been playing it for 30 years. I'm done. Like it's suffocating. What if I become more confident? What if I trust myself more? What if I believe that what I channel is truth? What if I believe that I have been speaking to spirits this whole time? What would that identity look like? How would she walk? How would she talk? Who would she be? You know, and for some time it'll feel like an imposter because you're getting dressed up into a new outfit. You're on stage. You were doing a Shakespearean play, and now you've left the Shakespeare, like all I'm seeing is the stage and everyone's dressed up in Shakespearean play and you're the main character and you're done with that role. You're like, I can't do this role anymore. I've done it for 30 years. I hate it. I want to do something modern, you know? and all of a sudden, like the next role you're playing is this magical gymnast, right? And then you dress up as a gymnast. Now you have to be flexible. Now you have to do this, and now you have to stand a certain way. That's all you're doing. But the in between, until you lock in the new identity, you are going to feel like an imposter because you are moving from one identity that you've chosen to leave behind to another one. And there's also the death of that one that's occurring. So there's a lot of sadness that is happening, a lot of attachments and want to pull it back, and a lot of like, keep those parts, but get rid of those. Right. So in moving, like think of the two energies here. This is an empty void space because you're jumping ship from one to the next. There's an empty. You're going to feel like there's nothing holding you. You have no base, you have no platform. But don't worry about it, okay? Because the way that your body is evolving and growing, this was meant to happen. You were meant to step into a new identity because if you can play the game of how many identities can I dress up as in the lifespan I have here, right? You don't have to be that one person because honestly, for all empaths, everyone's like, you got to be exactly who you are, authentic and vulnerable. And you have to be authentic, authentic. And you're like, well, authentic is who I used to be then. I was scared. I was terrified. I was abused. You think that's authentic, you know? And so you want to stick to that one identity. But authentic simply means that every time you dress up as someone new, you're truly embodying that actor. You're truly embodying that script. You're truly embodying this new persona. So, yeah, be an imposter for some time. And in your mind, you're simply going to think, you know what? This is me testing this new personality. What if I don't like it? I'll just drop it. But for this time, until I feel like into it, until I put my hands into the suit and feel like what it feels to touch this more confident, outspoken person or more introverted. Now I feel like being more introverted. Let me see how this feels. And does it feel really cool? That's an imposter syndrome moment, right? But it's such a cool moment because you can choose to tweak it because you have it locked in again. And then doing the loss, you get to choose to tweak it. You're like, no, it's too introverted, maybe some more extroverted. Okay, I'm a mix of both. I like that better. Right. And you get to play with that until it locks in, and then you live it for some time until you're done with it, and then you choose to do something else. So take it as this lifetime is your opportunity in human form to play out the villain and the good guy as often as you like in whichever direction you want, and it doesn't matter.
I love it. Getting permission to play and experience and feel all the things. Okay. So, how can we embrace our unique strengths and gifts when imposter syndrome makes us feel small or unworthy?
The cool thing about when the imposter syndrome shows up, it's just an alert in your system trying to let you know that you are about to step out of the old and step into the new. Okay. That's all that syndrome, that feeling that comes inside that, oh my God, I don't even know what I'm doing, that they're going to find out that I'm a phony and I'm a fake and I have no idea what I'm doing. No matter, I could have studied for 2000 years, but when it comes down to it, I really know nothing. When that version of you shows up and that pocket of energy comes, you have to know that that is divine guidance letting you know that you are moving from the old into the new and to let go and just embody it. So this is like instead of fearing it and being like, oh, imposter syndrome, I have to get rid of it. Oh my God. It's like being like, oh my God, this is the clearest sign I can possibly get that bravo, good job. You're playing the role very well. You've left that one behind and it's okay. Continue leaving it behind slowly. Continue until it's no more an identity. This is basically, if you can use it as a God compass sign that you're on the right track, that this is the new embodiment that your higher self, your soul is dying to dress up at. It's all like itchy. Your soul's like, oh, come on, come on, come on. I want more confidence. Oh, I want to play that role that I'm a diva. I want to play that role, And you're like, oh, okay. Okay, if you want to. So it's like you fulfilling the ego, fulfilling the desires of the soul. That's all it will feel like.
Well, that's beautiful. I like that perspective a lot. Okay, so my last question for you. What guidance can help someone reconnect with their inner confidence when imposter syndrome feels overwhelming?
Okay, when you're overwhelmed with imposter syndrome, that means you are in complete resistance to the flow of life, okay? To the flow of your personal evolution. Meaning I am I am in argument with this evolution, right? I am scared, basically. So if I'm overwhelmed from my syndrome, it's because I am scared. What do we do when we're scared? Best thing to do when you're scared is like rock yourself back and forth. Caress your arms and rock yourself. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You can be scared. You're allowed to be scared. I'm here. I'm here. You're cheering you on. I'm here. It's okay. It's okay. It feels really horrible. It feels really bad. I get it. I get it. And I believe in you. I know you can do this. I believe in you. What's the next best step you can take? You don't have to do it all. You're like, that's what I got goosebumps everywhere. That's what you're going to do. That's the offering you're going to gift the new you that she's just coming into birth, right? She has
Wow.
no idea what she's going to do. So you're just like, it's okay, sweetheart. I'm holding your hand. I'm right here. Don't worry about it.
Oh, I love that. So, like, I'm picturing it, it's like we're in these identities, and a lot of times we get into the identities we're comfortable with, which is like, then it's our like adult. As an adult, we're comfortable doing this thing. And then all of a sudden, it's like we're stepping out of our comfort zone, something new. It's like, oh, I've never written a book before. I've never published a book, or I've never put it out there. I've never spoken. I've never done a podcast. Like, I'm scared. Like, it is like a baby. It's a baby baby energy that's never done that before. And so I love this when it's like it's just mothering ourselves, comforting ourselves, giving ourselves what we need. We don't need it from anybody else. We're not going to get it from the world. We don't need it from the dopamine fix or whatever. If you want the true grounded security, it's coming to self and just like and honoring that, yeah, it's scary. You're doing something new and there's going to be judgment. People are going to make comments. I'm like, it's okay. I got you. I love you. Like, we'll work through this together. This is amazing. You're doing this. I'm so proud of you. You're growing. You're getting bigger. You're going from a baby to a toddler and you can walk on your own. That's exciting. Anyway, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yes, exactly, Mel. That's exactly it. It's exactly that feeling of like, it's okay. I'm holding your hand. It's okay. Here, come here. You know? Yeah.
Yeah. And comforting that inner child that has the fears or the resistance of like, should I just stay in the adult role of just the same thing? Or do you really want to like experience something new and different and feel what it feels like with the safety and security of the comforting me and self? I like
Yes.
that. Okay. All right. Well, are there any last nuggets that you want to drop or did you cover everything on this?
Yeah. Don't forget that everyone's playing a role. Nobody that you're seeing is not pretending to be someone. Everyone is playing a role. Everyone's either in the infancy of this role, they've embodied the role, they're sick of the role. It's this, recyclable, right? So everybody's going through something, right? So if somebody's feeling they're going through that syndrome, but you've settled really deeply into yours, you'll be like, oh, you're not, that's truth, blah, blah, blah. You can guide them. But then the day comes where you're ready to let go of that identity again. So just know we're all playing a role with each other on this planet. And whatever role you decide to play, when it's in the beginning of it, lavish in the fact that it feels like imposter, such a bad word for it, imposter syndrome. It's like if you change the language, everything changes. So let's give it a new language. Instead of imposter syndrome, let's just say, just simply, I feel like acting out this role for the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 1 month. It's a role I want to act out, right? What role would you like to act out? Maybe the role you want to act out is terrified. Maybe you've never felt terrified, and that's a role you want to play. You want to see because maybe you want to understand why people are terrified of the dark. Who knows? It's a role you want to play. Okay, it's a role I want to play. That's it. Take it that
Mm.
simple. Take it that easy because you can step back to the other identity any given time. It hasn't disappeared. It hasn't ceased to exist. And I'm hearing now you're probably worried that you've lost a lot of people because you've left that identity and you want them back because it's your comfort. You'll get them back the minute you dress up into that identity again because they vibrate with that identity, with that energy, with that movie. They're in that movie, right? So if you want to go back to that movie, just go back to that movie. You can. It's your choice. It's the freedom. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. So you can choose to go back in that, but there's sometimes where for me, I have outgrown certain people and I just realize like I just don't have much to talk to about anymore because I'm so bored of that conversation. It's like I had that conversation with these friends or these people for so long that the truth is and they're still playing and talking in that field, I'm like, I don't want to be there anymore. I don't really want to go back there unless it's kind of like, oh, I missed this piece of it. I want to go tap into these friends for the funny part that they were really funny with this. But for the most part, the deep, meaningful conversations, they just didn't exist anymore. And I get it more from this growing into a new area. And it's like, there's nothing bad about any of that. It's exciting. And yeah, you can go, like you said, you can go there anytime you want, if you want to. But the truth is, you might be like, I don't even want to anymore. And if you do, go for it. No shame. We're fine. You have permission to do whatever you want. It's all good.
You know, just choosing which role you want to play. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, and you can have them all. You can have different buckets of realities all around you, right? You can
Yeah.
jump back into the past personality with these specific people, and then jump into this one because this is the fun one, and jump into this one. This is the serious one, and this is the philosophical one, and this is the
Yeah.
one where you're like a leader, and this is the one where you're a follower. Why not?
Yeah. Oh, that's way more fun too, because it gets exhausting when you put yourself in one role. Like, oh, I have to be the spiritual teacher all of the time. So everywhere I go, I have to make sure, like, put yourself in this box, which a lot of people do. They feel like, well, because people look up to me, I can't be a real human anymore because whatever the excuse is. And it's like, that's boring. No, thank you. I like to play in all the areas depending on what mood I'm in that day. What time of the day, what time of the month, what time of the year, what time of the season. Like it's different energy and pocket of energy to play with. And I love that we can bounce in and out from those and give ourselves permission to do that. That's fun. That's a fun life to live. Very fulfilling.
Yes.
Cool. Oh, I love that. Okay. Well, thank you for listening to this. We hope that you guys got some good golden nuggets out of this imposter syndrome, which we're changing to. What role do you want to play? So you can even change the wording of it of like, oh, what role do I want to play today? Ooh, I'm going to do an uncomfortable one. I'm going to push the limits. I'm going to, see how far I can go. So we give you permission to play, have fun playing. We like to play. I very much like to play around here. I'll speak for myself. Um, the world needs you. The world needs you. You need you, starting with you, giving yourself your light, your love, your freedom to express yourself, to be yourself. And then those days where you're feeling down in the gunk and you're not feeling it, we've created something for you. It's a 3-minute daily ritual you can do every single day, several times a week, however often you want to do it, that just brings you back to your energy. And if something feels off, to bring you home to self. We love YouTube friends. So if you like this information, we would love for you to just give us a thumbs up, give us some love. You can subscribe so you're up to date on all the episodes and comment. We love your comments. So we'd love to hear your biggest takeaway from this. What did you get out of this episode? Did you have any shifts? Do you have any questions? Do you have any other ideas for podcast episodes, YouTube episodes you'd like to hear? We want to hear all of it. Just comment and connect with us. And then if you found a lot of value in this episode and had some shifts, we've created a Buy Me a Coffee account. That's a website, and you can go and you can support us. We call it, you can buy us a cup of love. So we can keep doing what we're doing and giving you great content that can help you just shift and grow. So if you want to support us there, and Rain has some beautiful ebooks and e-guides on there that you can purchase. So you could get something back that way as well while helping us grow. And I want to make sure you guys know we created a private group. We're in the process of creating a private platform for those that want to connect on a deeper level. In the meantime, we have a private Facebook group called Connecting Empowered Empaths. We're going to have the link so you guys can check that out. And we would love for you to be a part of that if you want to connect deeper with us. Also, remember, we want to put a quiz for you guys. We have a really fun quiz that we want to tell you about that you can do to see if you're an empath and kind of where you're at on that, in the process. So that's really fun, 5-minute quiz you can take, and we give you really cool results that can help you as well. So we're giving lots of love here. And before we end, we are going to have Rain pull an angel card to support us in the day and the week.
Drum rolls.
She's doing her own drum rolls now. It's pretty awesome. Yeah. A little weak, but it's fine. We'll practice. She's new to this. It's cool. It was like a little purr, kitty purr.
Ooh. It's just unbelievable how they turn. Patience.
Oh.
So remember how I was saying you have the old identity, the new identity, and that gap in the middle where you're feeling like an imposter? Have patience with yourself, okay, until you dress up into the new identity. Just be patient with yourself. Don't panic. Don't go all like, ah, my God. Like, just be patient with you. I mean, who else will you be patient with? Be patient with you. She's forming into a new person. Be patient with her. Give her love. Be kind to her when she's transforming. Don't be like, oh my God, go back in the closet right now. Like, just be patient. So this is perfect. Let patience be by your side this whole week, whether it's for imposter syndrome or anything else that's shown up for you. Most important thing is be patient with yourself. That's the message of this week.
And I love these angel cards because it's a simple thing that we can do to remind ourselves, like, oh, okay, I'm going to be patient. I'm going to be patient with myself. When you're driving and you're like, oh, what was that word? Oh, patience. Okay, patience. Just a way to connect with self in a loving way. Just a little reminder to be mindful, simple, something we all can do and make those shifts within ourselves. So thank you for that, Rain. And they always are so perfect with the episode that we record. It's really fun. These are fun.
You're fun.
All right. We'll see you guys all in the next episode.